Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to my podcast. So we're going to start. The chicken and became a school hero. Tom lived a small village with his grandmother. Their house was old but it was always full of laughter. Tom was 15 years old, thin a stick and famous for making stranger decisions. If there was a strong button to press, Tom would press it. If there were a dangerous shortcut, Tom would take it. One hot summer morning, Tom's grandmother gave him an important job. Tom, she said seriously, take this chicken to the market and sell it. And please, for once in your life, don't create any trouble. Tom placed his hand on his chest like a soldier. Grandma, can you trust me? She narrowed her eyes. That is exactly what worries me. The chicken was large, white, and surprisingly aggressive. Tom named his Captain Duck because the bird walked around like an angry army officer. Tom tied a rope around the chicken's leg and started walking towards the market. Everything was peaceful for first 10 minutes. Then Captain Duck escaped. The chicken suddenly flapped his wings, jumped into the air and ran directly into the village bakery. Tom chased after it while shouting like a football commentator. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Duck has entered the bakery. The situation is critical. Inside the bakery, flour exploded everywhere. The baker slipped on a loaf of bread and crashed into a table. A tray of cupcakes flew through the air like teeny missiles. One cupcake landed perfectly on Tom's head. The baker pointed at Tom angrily. Control your dinosaur. It's not dinosaur. Tom replied proudly, it is chicken with leadership skills. Captain Duck escaped again. This time the bird ran into the middle of the road and stopped traffic. A man on a bicycle fell into a watermelon stand. Watermelons rolled everywhere like green bowling balls. An old man shouted, catch that evil bird. Tom ran after the chicken for nearly half an hour. He jumped over fences, crowded under carts and accidentally scared 3 cats and 1 sleeping goat. Finally, Captain Duck entered the local school through an open gate. Tom stopped outside and whispered, oh no, the school principal, Mr. Groan, was famous for being strict. Students said he could hear him from 50 meters away. Tom slowly entered the building. The classrooms were silent, too silent. Then came a loud scream. Ah! Tom ran toward the sound and found complete chaos in the science classroom. Captain Duck was standing proudly on a desk while students laughed wildly. A tall boy shouted, the second hour my homework. Another student said, this is the best school day ever. Mr. Brown entered the room with fire in his eyes. What is happening here? At that exact moment, Captain Duck flew directly onto the principal's head. The entire classroom froze. Mr. Brown stood perfectly still while the chicken balanced on him like an stretched hat. Tom tried not to laugh. He failed immediately. One student snorted, then another laughed, then another laughed. Within seconds, the whole classroom exploded with laughter. Even the principal's face began shaking. Suddenly, Mr. Brown removed the chicken from his head and laughed louder than everyone else. Tom blinked in surprise. "I have worked here for 20 years," Mr. Brown said between laughs, "and his is the funniest thing I have ever seen." Captain Duck jumped onto the teacher's desk and knocked over a bottle from a science experiment. Blue smoke filled the room. Students screamed dramatically. One boy shouted, "We are all going to die." "No," the science teacher replied calmly, "that is only vinegar." The smoke alarm suddenly started ringing. The entire classroom evacuated into the playground. The hundreds of students stood outside while Captain Duck walked around proudly like a king, inspecting his army. Then something unexpected happened. A little girl started crying near the school gate. My hamster escaped," he sobbed. People looked around nervously. A teeny hamster was running dangerously close to the road. Before anyone could react, Captain Duck sprinted toward the hamster. Everyone gasped. But instead of attacking it, the chicken blocked the hamster from reaching the road and gently pushed it back toward the girl. The playground became silent. Tom started at the bird. "Captain Duck," he whispered, "you genius." A little girl hugged her hamster tightly. Mr. Brown crossed his arm and looked at the chicken carefully. "The bird," he announced, "is not dangerous. He is a hero." The students cheered loudly. Someone even started chanting, "Captain Duck, Captain Duck." By afternoon, the story had spread across the entire village. People came to see the famous chicken. The baker arrived too. At first, I hated this bird," he admitted. "But honestly, business has never been better. People are buying cupcakes just to hear the story." Tom grinned proudly. "So you're not angry?" The baker said, You still owe me money for the broken table." That evening, Tom returned home with Captain Duck. Grandma looked at the chicken. "You did not sell it?" Tom smiled nervously. "Well, technically, the chicken became a local celebrity." Grandma started silently for a long moment. Then she asked, "Should I even ask what happened?" Tom opened his mouth. At the exact moment, Captain Duck jumped onto the dinner table and stole Grandma's glasses. Grandma closed her eyes slowly. I know it, the whispered. I know trouble would happen. Tom laughed so hard he fell off his chair, and from that day on, Captain Duck was no longer just a chicken. He became the most respected bird in the entire village.